Buenos días a todos. Con ustedes el entrenador de Filadelfia, Curtin, y el jugador Julián Carranza. Por favor, primera pregunta. Nombre y medio. Adelante, por favor.
Good morning, Coach.
Hello.
Case Gomez here for ESPN. There is a lot of talking here in Costa Rica that your team. Sorry, Case Gomez here for ESPN. There is a lot of talking here in Costa Rica that your team hasn't had competed in games so far because you are in pro season. What do you think about that? Could be this an advantage for Saprissa tomorrow? Thank you.
It's a great question. The first thing I'd like to do is thank the people of Costa Rica for welcoming us. We've been taken care of in an incredible way. Beautiful people, friendly people. To come and play against this historic club in Saprissa is something that we look very much forward to, but we also respect this club a great deal. For me, it's the biggest club in Costa Rica. It's one that we have a little bit of history with, having played in the Champions Cup before. But your question is a great one. There's always concerns as a coach going into your first real game, right? So Saprissa has been in a good run of form in the league, has 7 games under their belt, and is a little bit more fit than us. That's natural. We've worked very hard in the preseason to try to get to a good fitness level. We had very good performances in our preseason games. But as we all know, coming to this stadium is something different than a preseason game where there are no fans. The intensity is good, but it's never the real intensity that it takes for Champions Cup. So it's always a concern as a coach. We recognize the first 15 minutes is very critical. We know Saprissa will throw a lot at us. We have to be brave and we have to be calm and not make mistakes in the early going. Otherwise, you make it very difficult on yourself. Look, Saprissa is a team that we're very familiar with the players and the personnel, right? There's a lot of MLS experience in their group. It's players that I've prepared for several times in the past. Players like Mora, Segura, Diaz with his pace and speed. With that now too, they have a player in Torres that for me is one of the top players in Concacaf and has been for many years with his passing and his ability to play a final ball. 36 years old, but still can control the tempo of a game. So we have a great respect for their players, a lot of familiarity with their team. I could go through each name and say there's 7, 8 guys that have played in MLS at a very high level and have done a good job. So we respect them a great deal, but we don't fear anybody. That has to be our mindset and our mentality. We know we have a good team too. And we know that this game is the first leg, right? I always say the tie can be lost in the first leg. It can't be won. So we have to be very intelligent with how we approach the game, very disciplined, because the opponent can really hurt you. And I've been in this stadium before when it goes crazy early. As an example, back when I was in my Chicago days, we had an early red card, and it becomes, I'll just say, very, very difficult to play once the crowd gets going, and there's no stopping that momentum. So we'll be smart in how we approach the game, respectful, but also brave. Yeah, our club through the years has proven to be a team that is comfortable not having the ball. We're okay if Saprissa has a lot of possession, and we actually expect that. Where we're very good is in the transition. So how quickly can we go from defense to attack and attack to defense? Both are very, very important phases of the game. The beautiful thing about this sport is there's a million different ways to do it, and I'm not here to tell you which one is the correct way, but we do it our way. It's unique. It's unique to our city. It's unique to our club, and we're proud of it. We also have a great group of young players and young talent. We also have a great group of veterans that have been through these types of games at a high level in CONCACAF, both with their national team and with their club team. So that experience is something you have to, I'll just say, lean on heavily in these types of games and in these atmospheres. Look, Saprissa is a team, again, that can hurt you a lot of different ways. We have to be almost perfect and disciplined in our approach. So it's going to be a tough task, like I've said. Well, it's an honor to be one of those teams, but I'm also smart enough to recognize when we won in this stadium, it was COVID and it was empty. So it will be a totally different animal tomorrow. So again, yes, that was a great achievement on that day. I believe 1-0 and Vizo good cross to Casper. I can picture it right now, but I also recognize this is a new test, new players, new groups of teams for Saprissa, new players for the Philadelphia Union. And when the opening whistle goes, this 90 minutes is basically halftime. So we have to set ourselves up in a good way to go back to Philadelphia. It's an important goal of ours to not concede, right? Because away goals are very big. So be very strong defensively and try to score one on the counter and then protect our home in Philadelphia. It's a challenge. You have to be very smart in how you approach the game because, like I said, it can't be won in the first leg, but it can be lost. So you have to be very disciplined and recognize that this will be halftime, like I mentioned. We do know at home, similar to Saprissa, our home field advantage is a very good one. I think in our last 65 games there, we've been beaten 3 times. So we are very good at home. The challenge, though, is to set yourself up for that second leg. It is an advantage to have the second game at home, I believe, but you also have to be very cautious with the approach in the first 90 minutes. So again, discipline is very important. Matching the intensity of Saprissa from minute 1, which is the job of the strikers. For me, it's our first line of defense is our strikers, and the guy sitting to my right does it as good as anybody in MLS. So we look forward to the challenge. Again, it's one that we know will be difficult, but we need to be brave. Yeah, first part, it's Commonwealth proper. Craig Schroeder, a Philadelphia Union fan, soccer fan, and overall great guy, and has an incredible company. So fortunate enough he can make me look good. He can make anybody look good. So that's the message there. I would say that, look, Jonathan, the approach in the preseason is the same as always, right? We put our work in. The guys physically are in a really good spot. You always still have concern going into your first 90 minutes, though, with getting that intensity just right. So we have to have an approach that is disciplined, is intelligent, but also recognize the reality is it's our first test, it's our first game. So as we get later into the game and the fatigue starts to set in, can we keep our concentration? Can we maybe make a change a little earlier than we would to get fresh legs on the field? Every guy has to be willing to do their job for 90 minutes. Some will be called upon for 60 minutes. Some will be called upon to close the game out for 1 minute, but every guy has to execute, and you really have to eliminate mistakes in a Champions Cup competition. Yeah, like I mentioned before, we've had really good performances from guys, and I think we've been in a good spot with our results in preseason. I don't like to single out individuals, but in each line, we've had Damian Lowe take a big step, I think, as a central defender. Quinn Sullivan's had a great preseason and has really emerged as a good two-way player for us. And the guy to my right, Julian, has been himself and has been hitting the back of the net. So overall, the team's worked very hard. I like where we're at physically, fitness-wise. Obviously lost Leon Flock, which is always difficult, but injuries are a part of the game and it's an opportunity for others to step up. So a quicker way to answer it, I like where the group is at, and I really look forward to our first test.